welcome back. My name is Heather Graham. Well, massage requires the application of pressure to achieve its many benefits. But how do you know when you're giving the perfect pressure to your client? Well, because the experience is such a subjective one, we have no idea what the client is experiencing once we start working on them. We don't know what the intensity level of the pressure or the pain that they're experiencing. It is imperative that we communicate with our clients, both before the massage and then after the massage begins. So before the massage, I explain to my clients what the pressure scale is from 1 to 10. I use a scale from 1 to 10 where 1 is just my hand being placed on them and 10 might be excruciating pain scraping you off the ceiling. And I explain that I'm always looking for something between a 7 and an 8, 6 or a 7, I guess. More like a hurt so good, comfortably deep pressure. Before we even go forward, let's talk about what exactly does pressure do. So when we apply pressure to our clients, we are relieving the tension in the tight muscles, ligaments, and tendons, what we call soft tissue. We're also relieving nerve compression that might have been caused by these tight muscles. We're moving interstitial cellular fluid, which helps reduce swelling and bring food and oxygen, fresh food and oxygen to the cells. And all of this helps to relieve pain. How do we find the perfect pressure with our clients as we're working with them? The first thing, as I mentioned before, is to ask for feedback. Explain what you're looking for before you even bring your client into your room and start working on them. And then as your massage begins and as you find maybe your first point of tension after your general warming phase and you're going and searching and looking for these tight areas, well, when you find one, check in with your client at that time and ask them, is this pressure perfect? Could it be more or less pressure? And also before the massage, I also let every client know that at any time during the massage, feel free to let me know if you need more or less pressure. The second thing I would like to remind you guys is that the muscles do run in layers from superficial to intermediate to deep. So as we're working, we want to use our pressure in a similar manner. We want to start off a little lighter and loosen and release the superficial muscles, deeper and deeper as we increase our pressure down to the deeper layers and the deeper muscles. So number 3, proper body mechanics is also absolutely imperative for you to give the perfect pressure with the least amount of detriment to yourself and to your tools, and to keep you in this business for as long as possible. The proper body mechanics are absolutely the most important thing I think I can talk about. Of course, that will require a whole nother video because there is much more involved than what I can just explain. But in essence, what you want to remember is that you want your work to always be in front of you. You always want to use your tools and your body and apply the pressure directly in front of you. Remember, the power comes up through your feet, through you, and out of your hands onto your client. The fourth thing to remember is that we are sinking in to meet the resistance of the muscle tissue. Healthy muscle tissue will be pliable, it'll be soft, I like to call it mushy, and there's no resistance. You get a hypertonic or tight band or trigger point or tender point, and you're going to immediately feel when you press in, you're going to feel that resistance of those tight muscles kind of pushing against you. So when you find those areas, again, this is where you want to check in at least the first time or two, because this is a subjective experience that only your client can determine whether the pressure is perfect. So double check that what you're feeling and what they're feeling is consistent, that you're staying in that hurt so good feeling. The fifth thing is the concept of pour, not push. Now, I found this guy named David Lobenstein, and he has come up with this concept of pour, not push. And I'll put the link down below so you can check him out for yourself. But I love this concept that he states. We don't push through the muscles or through the tissue with our own muscles. we actually pour the pressure through our bodies and out through our hands. And we're using our body at all times. So we're not pushing with these little biceps, triceps. I've had those massages, and maybe many of you have too, where you can feel the therapist shaking. They're trying so hard, they're pushing so hard that their muscles are shaking, and that translates, and you can feel that. That tells me one thing: they are not using proper body mechanics. They are trying to push through my muscles, and that in turn is hurting them. They're working way too hard. So your work should be very easy. Delivering deeper pressure should not be a difficult thing. It should not wear your hands out, your wrists out, or your body out if you are using proper body mechanics. There are 3 ways that I'm going to quickly go over that you can intensify your pressure without actually doing more work on your part. So the first way is to use a smaller tool and more body weight. A smaller tool and more body weight translates into more feeling of pressure for the client. The second way you can increase the intensity ladder of the pressure is to do what we call some passive engagement techniques. So maybe you are applying pressure on the muscle while also concurrently stretching it, pulling it, lengthening. And the third way is an active engagement. The active engagement technique means that you are working on the muscle while the client themselves are actively elongating or working the muscle. So those are 3 ways that you can easily just quickly intensify your pressure without using more energy on your part. Your pressure is subjective, and it's all about the client. It's not about you. So if your client is experiencing perfect pressure, then you are applying perfect pressure. If you think you're applying perfect pressure and your client's toes are curling and they're holding their breath, that is too much pressure. Check in immediately and get things back down to a hurt so good level. So I hope this helps a little bit with this pressure problem that I've come across over the years. Please like this if you got anything out of it, and subscribe if you haven't. Have a great day.